confirming the Pentagon victim to a sophisticated cyber attack against its Joint Staff Unclassified Email system. Now, a defense official is telling Fox that Russia is strongly suspected. The hack occurring sometime around July 25th, affecting 4,000 military and civilian personnel. This comes after the colossal 21.5 million government worker data breach back in June. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cowan is with me now. So, Colonel, you say the administration has a big problem on its hands. What can be done at this juncture?
Deirdre, I think the only thing we ought to be doing is going on the offensive. The minute, and certainly we know within days, if not hours, who the perpetrators of these attacks are, both the Chinese earlier and the Russians this time. We need to immediately go on the offensive. We need to counterattack. An attack should result in a counterattack. Unfortunately, we are postured only for defensive actions. We're way behind the power curve when it comes to our ability to strike back.
Okay, when it comes to our ability to strike back, what is the main problem? Is it that the government cannot compete with Silicon Valley companies for top talent, top engineering, code-breaking talent?
Yeah, listen, that's such a great question. I haven't heard that addressed anywhere because we know Silicon Valley's got all the brain trusts out there. But remember, at a minimum, the government can contract with companies in Silicon Valley or elsewhere that have a lot of very smart people who understand the cyber world, both offensive and defensive. So there are ways we could get it done. What we've just failed to do, or are off to a late start to do, is actually develop a policy and programs and features that afford us the ability to be offensive in nature.
Let me ask you, Colonel, if you don't mind, about this idea that Russia is strongly suspected. And those are the words of the Pentagon. So not being blamed, but strongly suspected. And you and I have spoken in the past about China, that huge data breach that I referenced just at the top here. And the idea being that China just came out and said, we didn't do it, but yet a lot of people think that China did. What do you think the chances are in this case that it is Russia?
I don't think that the Pentagon or anybody in the administration would have said anything about suspecting Russia if they didn't have clear and compelling evidence that it was. They don't want to get into a war on words. We already know that Russia's going to step back and say, no, it wasn't us. But I think the mere notion that we mention them, that they're suspected of being the ones, tells me that our administration, our intelligence and cyber people definitely know that it is.
All right, Colonel, so glad to have you with us. Thank you so much for the time and for your insights. Colonel Bill Cowan, retired, joining us there.